Hi, it's Rob Moore here from Progressive Property, and I'm really excited to be sitting on the couch here with Nick Thorpe. Nick, this is everyone.
Hi everyone.
And everyone, this is Nick. Now, Nick's one of those silent assassins, the loud people like myself, you always hear about us. But Nick not so much, and he's kind of just gone on and done his thing, and done it very well. And I think it's probably going to inspire you, so you want to make sure you watch the whole video. I just want to say, Nick, thanks for giving your time, because I know it's very valuable. So before we get into your results and the epic achievements you've got, take us back quickly and tell us why you wanted to get A, into property, and B, with Progressive in the first place.
Okay, well thanks for having me here as well. I appreciate it
Pleasure.
too. So I joined the military at 17 and followed my dream. I travelled the world and lived an amazing life, gained a lot of life experience. Mm-hmm. I did pretty well. I started off as a private and finished as a major, mm-hmm. which for a young kind of Yorkshire lad with not any GCSEs, I progressed very quickly. Yeah. There was an instance where I was losing too many of my friends. Right. So 8 of my 9 lives had gone. So I decided. So
people who were working for you. 8 of them died.
And actually,
wow.
When I 8 of my 9 personal lives, I was blown up and shot at.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, right.
And I lost some very close friends. And actually, what's harder than losing your friends is the guys that you've sent into battle. So the guys that you're in command of. Right. Because you're kind of semi-responsible for what's happening. Mm-hmm. So I realised there's something better to life. Right. And I had an opportunity. So I'd been in 15 years, mm-hmm. and I had an opportunity to leave. So I did, and I hopped out. Right. And I had a few months off, mm-hmm. and then I bumped into a friend of mine who is in property, and he told me about this company based in Peterborough. Yeah. Called
we're putting Peterborough on the map.
yeah, centre of the universe, absolutely. So I decided I'd give it a go. Mm-hmm. But being the risk-averse military person I was, I tried a few different places as well. So all your colleagues in other work companies, I tried a bit with all sorts of them. And I settled with Progressive. Okay, great. So I'm very grateful for that. What made you settle for us as opposed to the others you tried? Good question. I liked the fact that you're very giving with your information. Mm-hmm. Before you get your wallet out. And actually my mind was finance based, whereas now I'm just purely focused on value. Mm-hmm. Whereas it was kind of the other way around. I also like the fact that you kind of say, we're going to give you this training and we'll sell you a course during it, mm-hmm. but don't buy it if you don't want it, but it's there if you want it. It's mm-hmm. up to you, which I found really, well, that's how I interpret it. Mm-hmm. I found really refreshing. Sure. So I did most of the training. Mm-hmm. I did VIP and I did masterclass, which I found absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And a few of the bits and bobs, deal packaging, estate agent courses, all those kind of bits and bobs. Okay. Yeah. Great. So let's fast forward to now. So how long ago roughly did you do the kind of main foundational course, which is probably masterclass, I guess? Less than 2 years ago. Okay. And you've been a VIP member, 18 months, something like that? Yeah. Okay, great. So fast forward to now, mm-hmm. give us your results and give us the top line first. So how many properties, cash flow, equity, if you've packaged deals, whatever else you've done. Okay, fine. So my income when I left the military was 0. So this was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And last month we did just over 30 grand in deal sourcing. Mm-hmm. In terms of properties, I built my own portfolio. 8 properties, that's where we're up to. A mixture. I followed what it said on the tin, what I was told to do. Well, you've got the past history of that. And HMOs, and then now we're doing some bigger stuff, some commercial. So you progressed up rather than doing a commercial first off. That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. And do you get any passive income from those properties? Yeah, depending on what month it is. Last month half the tenants decided not to pay, but which happens. Yeah, of course it does. But we allow for that. Yeah. We're not kind of naive in the approach. Mm-hmm. From my rental income, 3.5, 4 grand a month. Yeah. From my lettings business, which I've now got, we manage nearly 100 properties. Wow. That is, about £8 a month.
Yeah.
Sourcing alone in January we did 30 grand, and that's
Wow.
with another sourcing company that I formed
Yeah.
with some investors.
So you're building the multiple streams of income model,
Absolutely.
but you didn't do them all at once, and you built them on top of each other like we teach at Multiple Streams.
Yeah.
So you followed the system.
100%.
And do you think if people follow the system, they can get the results like you did too? Or is there something sort of special about you?
Absolutely not. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Do as you're told,
Mhm.
and there are obviously risks, and I had my own element to it. I've also got a construction company now.
Right.
I tend to work on. I said yes to everything,
Mhm.
and then figured out how to do it. Whereas
Yeah.
now I say no to everything,
Yeah.
and then sometimes go back and
Sure.
change my mind.
Mhm.
Our construction company will turn over 400 grand this year,
Right.
at least,
Mhm.
which was me. So I source the properties, we do the refurbishment,
Mhm.
we manage them. So we
Yeah.
take a fee all the way through.
Okay.
And the investors get quality service as well.
And this is all in really the last 2 years?
Definitely the last 2 years. I dabbled in property since 2008, but that was a accidental
Mhm.
landlord.
Sure.
So I dabbled in property for a few years, but yeah, this was full time.
Okay, great. So the reason I'm not here looking surprised is because whilst it's a great result, I've seen this kind of story in many different types of people, and actually quite a lot of ex-military as well, for the last 10 years. And I think if there's one thing I could just add to that is if you follow the system, it will work for you, whether you're young, old, employed, self-employed, you have deposits or you don't, doesn't make any difference. So what would you say to someone who's watching this in a similar position to you, or wants to get in but hasn't yet, maybe he's been inspired by your story? What would you say to them?
I've got 3 things on my whiteboard in my office. One of them is to have fun, enjoy what you do, surround yourself by people that inspire you, hence why I'm sat here. And the third thing is to take action.
Mhm.
So I think I see far too many people coming into the business dithering around. Just with what you've got right now, do it. Go and view properties. That helped me.
Mhm.
I was a professional property viewer.
Right. Yeah.
And
So you did it properly.
absolutely viewed, I'd say, last week was about 35 properties we viewed.
Yeah.
And I get about a 1 in 3 hit rate at the moment with
Sure.
what I view. So,
Mhm.
view as much as you can, but take action. That's the biggie.
Now, we have a simple model, VOFM at Progressive: Viewing, Offer, Finance, Manage. So lots of those: viewings, offers, finance, management. And actually it's not that, if you think about it like that, it's not that difficult a process. You do a certain amount of viewings, you make a certain amount of offers, you raise a certain amount of finance, and then you manage them well. And VIP really, which you did after Masterclass, is an implementation program which is teaching you to follow that model and having the support and accountability to go and do probably what many of you watching already know you can do, or you've already got yourself educated on. So what one or things would you say Progressive specifically really helped you with? Maybe something you learned on Masterclass or VIP?
I never realised what my mindset was like. So the technical training is fantastic, but you see the industry adapts so much that you've got to really keep up to date. So it gives you the basic foundations, but in terms of technical training, you've got to be, if you're out doing it, you kind of quickly learn your mistakes. But for me, it's the mindset.
Sure.
Element. It's massive.
Here's the thing, if you're getting into property, you're going to have down vals. You're going to be having brokers, agents, solicitors that are really slow. If you're in long enough, you're going to endure booms and busts. You're going to have refurbs that take too long. You're going to have budgets that are way over time and way over cost. And these are all kind of normal. And so when you follow the system, when the things happen to you, you think you're the only one that it happens to, and you think that it's a major disaster, because if you've been doing this a decade or 2 years like Nick, these are guaranteed things to go through. So I think it's really important to state that you can do it, and there is a system, but maybe you need a bit of help doing things you've never done before, because a shock is always a shock to us if it's a shock, but if we've been through it before, it's not. Okay, so what would you say to someone who's sitting on the fence? Someone who wants to do what you do, but like you were dabbling before in '08, now you're serious. What would you say to that person to help them get over the fence?
I would say understand your reason why you want to do it, because that's the key to it, really. If your reason why is strong enough, then you'll be off the fence. I think if you want to improve your life, or if you want to help people, which are, two of the biggest reasons. I've got a young family, young children, and I'm creating something for them, so they're never going to have to worry about money.
Sure.
Until they squander it, I'm sure.
Well, that's going to be their choice.
Well, exactly. They're going to have a choice to
or put it in trust. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so really what you're saying is the fact that you've got something bigger than you motivates you more than maybe you might on your own or for yourself.
Every day. So this week I've had a down val on the way here. I've had an investor pull out.
We're really selling this, aren't we?
Yeah. And actually, I've been outside on the phone, and within 10 minutes I found another investor for the deal. So I'm quite comfortable in any situation now.
Sure.
We're negotiating on a portfolio, a £4.6 million portfolio of properties, and for me it's just a transaction now, and it's quite a simple process. But definitely get your reason why. If you sat on the fence, it's because you're not motivated enough, or you're not paying enough. That's why.
Yeah.
And if you understand that, why do a bit of soul searching, I think that will help you.
Okay, so let's just finish then with a couple of the sort of more sceptical questions. I have a business partner who's the most sceptical person in the whole world. He's taught me to be sceptical because I'm generally quite naive. So a lot of people might say, well, you must have had a load of pension or a big fat payout to be able to buy these 8 properties and generate what sounded like north of £50,000 a month, maybe more. So did you start with a big load of deposits?
No, 50 grand.
Okay. And how have you managed to build a portfolio? What's the value now, roughly?
We're in Yorkshire. So
okay. So what, 50 grand?
Probably, yeah. I £500,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really, you've 10x leveraged 50 grand.
Yeah, at least.
How have you managed to do that? Well, how have you managed to do it with just 50 grand, and how have you managed to 10x your deposits?
Buy, refurbish, remortgage.
So follow the model.
Follow the model.
Yeah.
I've joint ventured on a couple. I'm just about to pick up a lease option, a 10-bed on a lease option.
So that's 3 deals that aren't your own deposits.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, but the buy, refurbish, remortgage. That's how.
So if someone doesn't even have 50 grand,
yep,
like you did when you started, can they still do it?
100%. And actually, I think you learn the system better if you're using other people's money, because you
don't rely on the money.
Yeah, exactly that. You've got confidence, whereas now that's kind of tied up all over the place and in properties. So every time I put an offer in, I know I've not got the money in the bank, whereas in the past I did. That was how I've got to. The lease options were very simple that we've done. And the new approaches to no money down, the simplest way is to give people something that is valuable. So deal sourcing, literally this week we've done 3 deals, which will give us, well, on Monday we brought in 16,800
right
in deal fees, which is enough to buy a house in Yorkshire.
Sure. Yeah.
Or a deposit at least.
Yeah. Or a shed in Kensington. Nick, it's been a real pleasure. Thanks for your insight, and thanks for hopefully inspiring people watching to, take action. What would you say the next thing they should do is, or maybe where should they go in Progressive to, maybe look at achieving what you have?
I'd say get to a networking event, one of the PPN events. Shop around, have a look around, and everyone finds who they connect with in their own niche. But get to one of the networking events. And also, I spend a lot of time on social media, so hop onto the Facebook groups, and there'll be people asking questions you don't know you need to ask, and that'll give you a feel for the kind of community that you can be part of.
Brilliant. Nick, thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.